And here's what nobody tells the entrepreneurs. Your 40s are not your last chance. Your 60s are not your last chance. They're your first real chance the minute you decide who you're going to be. And the minute you let go who you're not going to be. I am 49 years old, and I've been an entrepreneur for almost 22 years. And if I could take a single video and send it back in time to the version of me sitting at his desk at 35 years old, this is the video I would send him. Because at 35, I was working way too many hours. I had a beautiful family. I had success on paper, and that was fine. But in private, there were moments nobody saw. I was tired. I was scared that I had to be the one carrying the weight for everybody. And I was quietly wondering if it was ever going to feel like it was supposed to feel, that freedom. If any of that lands in your chest right now, this video is going to be perfect for you. There are 5 things I wish someone had sat me down and told me at 35 years old. Nobody did, so I had to learn them through experience. You know, after I was 35, things started working in my favor because I started figuring this out. But if you do not learn these 5 things in your 40s, you're going to spend your 50s learning them. You're going to spend your 50s paying for them. And by the time you finally understand them in your 60s, the window is closed on the most important decade of compounding you will ever have access to. Time is our greatest currency. Time is the one currency you cannot earn back, nor can I. And money is not the greatest currency. It's always time. Like today, you and I are going to be the youngest we've ever been. And there's such a great fallacy we have all this time. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to lock in with me because this video is literally going to change your life. So put your phone down and sit with me for the next few minutes. Just you and me. The way I wish someone had sat with me when I was 35 years old. 5 lessons, 20 years of hustle compressed into the next few minutes. Lesson 1, at 35, you don't need more time. You have to have a new identity. Write that down. If I was starting over again, the only thing I would focus on is identity. And I have, with all my clients, declared war on the survival identity. The survival identity is always chasing money, always grinding your way to success, constantly letting your results dictate your identity. And I want you to understand, identity shows up everywhere. And look at your results right now, identity. Look at your health, identity. Look at your relationships, identity. Look at the size of your goals, identity. And what you want to understand, at 35, you don't need more time. You have to create a new identity. And you may not be 35, you may be 55. The rule stays the same. You may be 65 watching this. Same thing. And I want you to understand, this is the lesson that if I had learned years ago, instead of until I turned over 35, would have given me back so much of my life. So there's something right now in your subconscious mind that I call the wealth thermostat, and it has a set point. If your set point is $20,000 a month, your subconscious will make sure it never exceeds $20,000 a month. If you suddenly make 40, the next month it's going to bring you back down to 10 where you average 20. It will always sabotage you back down. If you have a slow month, it will drive you back up. Your subconscious does not care if you're rich or poor. It only cares if you are at that set point. Now I want you to listen to me carefully. By the time you hit 40, 50, 60, you've already set this thermostat. Through 20 years of stories, 20 years of conversation, 20 years of who you grew up around, what your family said about money, what your first business failure taught you about what was possible, by 40, the thermostat is set. Truly, by 20, the thermostat is set. And I don't want you to grind 12 hours a day for the next 10 years. But understand that's exactly what you're going to do if you don't change the thermostat. You will end up exactly the same year after year after year after year and call it a life. I want you to feel the weight of that. You do not have a strategy problem. Nobody does. It's always identity. So here is the cure to that. Before you go to bed, I want you to write this sentence in a journal or on a piece of paper that lives on your desk where you see it every single day. I want it in your bathroom. I want it so it reminds you. This is the statement. I am the kind of person money flows to effortlessly, continuously, and easily. My wealth identity is set, locked, and growing. I think, feel, and act as someone whose income is my number or more every month. But I want you to read it 10 times tonight. Read it 10 times tomorrow morning. Do not negotiate with the version of you that thinks this is silly. That version of you is the one that got you here. Now, lesson 2, your environment is your income. This is a game changer. You will never outperform your environment. This one took me many years to fully accept because I have so many close family members and friends. I thought, what do you mean? That has nothing to do with my income. But when I started stepping into bigger rooms, my income changed right away. Your average income is the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I want to say that again. Your average income is the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a quote, this is law. A law that operates on you whether you understand it or not. The day my life changed is the day everything changed, was the day I made one decision, and that was one conversation with my mentor, Bob Proctor. He was the most traveled wealth mentor I had ever heard of. And I made a decision that made no sense at the time because I had no reason to do it where I was financially. And it scared me more than anything that I'd ever done because I'd never followed anyone's direction. Now, maybe that's you. Maybe you are like me where you were coachable up to your comfort zone. Well, I committed to be in his proximity. And that one commitment changed my life forever. And then it didn't just change 1 month. I ended up being in his proximity for 15 years. I was so close with him. I was his number one. And I sat in rooms where the average income was 100 times mine. And here's what happened. My subconscious raised its standard. Not because I was working harder. I was actually working less. But my subconscious raised its standard because my eyes had now seen what was possible. You can never unsee a room you've been in. You could feel the energy. When you walk in that room, your standards just change. And you also see what's possible. I remember I'd walk in these rooms, and I was in a room with my mentor, Bob Proctor, and Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield drew me 2 circles interconnected. And if you don't know Jack Canfield, I'm sure you do, he wrote millions of copies of Chicken Soup for the Soul. But he said, Arash, here's what my mentor taught me, W. Clement Stone. And he drew these 2 circles intertwining. And he said, the only commonality you need with anybody is where you're relatable in these 2 circles. That changed the game for me. I used to think, oh, this person is not, we don't have anything in common. No. He said, W. Clement Stone and I, Arash, had nothing in common except one thing. We wanted to help people. And that's all we focused on. Imagine how much that was worth to me. So here's the question I want you to sit with. Look around at the 5 people whose voices you hear most often, the phone calls, the texts, the dinners, the direct messages, the podcasts you listen to. What is the average income of those 5 voices? Whatever that number is, that is a ceiling on your income for the next decade, unless you start walking into bigger rooms. See, I was still hanging out with the same friends I had at 15 years old. Great people, loyal people, but they were going in a different direction than I was, which is totally fine. Well, what happened for me as I started changing, the rooms I walked in started changing, but I've never lost those relationships. And every conversation I had with my friends was unconsciously pulling my thermostat back to where they were. There was nothing wrong with it. So what did I do? I didn't eliminate those friends. I just changed what we spoke about. When I changed the room and really masterminded with high-level individuals going the same direction, we had that commonality of ideas. But do you see, you don't have to eliminate people you care about. I never eliminated. I love my friends. But understand this, when I changed and walked into bigger rooms, my income literally tripled in 18 months. Not because of the strategy in the room, because the standard in the room. Your standard always wins. So here's what I want you to do this week. Not next month, not when it's convenient, this week. I want you to identify one room you could put yourself in that is above your current set point. And I want you to start getting to know these people. I want you to look at how their ideas are forming. I want you to start masterminding. I want you to get involved in a live event, a coaching program. Get direction from people who are already further than you're going. And understand this, you should never get direction from anyone unless they've already performed the results you want to perform. I want you to get a book that you're going to devour and study for a year. That's what changed for me. I want you to understand, if the room costs money, pay for it. Going cheap is unbelievably expensive. And most people are trying to create massive transformation in their comfort zone. It's never going to happen. You are going to get back what you spent in the room within days, literally days, by executing the ideas. I've watched this happen with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of clients. The room is the leverage. See, it made no sense to me. It was so against my programming. But when I went all in, I knew somewhere unconsciously, well, if it's uncomfortable, that means I had to do it. That's why I kept walking into these rooms. And understand, when I started, you may be like me, I was an introvert. And when I burned all my bridges, I was like, I've got to change. And I changed. The rooms changed, the people changed, the ideas grew, and my life changed. But I want you to understand, but before we go any further, I want you to pause this video, leave the comment. I want you to say, I feel it. And I want you to understand, you do not have a capability problem. It's a willingness problem. We've got to stop this old sabotaging behavior, being addicted to our whole self. What is that behavior? I'll do it when the money comes. The money's never going to come. I'll do it when I'm ready. You're never going to be ready. Like Emerson said, do the thing will give you power. He doesn't say wait for the thing. You've got to do your part. Because here's what I know of doing this work for over 22 years. The people who type it do it. Why? Because it deepens your commitment on a subconscious level. The people who don't type it, they're going to scroll to the next video. And when you type, I can feel it, you're speaking it into existence. Now let's go to lesson 3. And if I'm being honest with you, this may be the most important of all 5. Speed is wealth. I need you to go faster. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Those 3 words changed my life. I remember when I learned them from W. Clement Stone. He was never a mentor of mine. He was an indirect mentor. I loved his books and I studied him. And he was the most successful insurance salesman in the world. And his motto was do it now. And I remember when I was first starting to get mentored by my mentor, he said, these 3 words will change your life, do it now. But understand why, because when the fire is burning in your belly, you got to act. If you don't act right away, the ideas die. If you don't act on really committing, the ideas die. But why? Because hesitation is poverty. I was the most thoughtful entrepreneur you would have ever met. But I didn't know how to make a decision. I'd say I got to think about it. Boy, was I ignorant. I would research and research and research. I would ask so many people for their opinion. I made a pros and cons list. I'm laughing at myself inside right now thinking about how ignorant I really was. But my mentor told me, he said, until you decide, nothing happens. And I can't help you until you decide. And most people never decide. See, if you don't make a decision, back it up with discipline and act on it right away, it's not a decision. So while I was waiting to feel sure, the world was rewarding the people who decided fast. I learned this lesson very quickly. And here's the truth that took me so long to accept it. I never heard this before. The universe loves speed. The universe rewards the person who moves while the idea is hot, not the person who waits to feel ready. Waiting to feel ready is a recipe for failure. The person who waits to feel ready is the person who never moves. Burn this in your mind, brain tattoo it. Money loves speed. Decision loves speed. Implementation loves speed. I have a phrase I tell my clients that change their lives. Decision before evidence. The amateur waits for evidence and then makes the decision. The pro makes the decision and then creates the evidence. Burn that idea in your mind. Now listen to me carefully. Every single thing in your life right now that is not where you want it to be, your business, your body, your bank account, your relationships, your peace, every single one of these things is a downstream of a decision you have not yet made. You do not have a clarity problem. You have a courage problem. You know what to do. You're just not doing it. You're waiting to feel ready. Remember what I said and test it for yourself if you think I'm lying. Until you make a decision, nothing moves. The byproduct of wealth is action. What is the prequel to action is decision. And I want you to understand this, that the feeling of readiness is a lie your ego is telling you to keep you exactly where you are. Because where you are is safe and where you're going is unknown. If you're in a room of two kinds of people, the ones who decide and the ones who hesitate, 5 years from now, those two groups will have completely different lives. Same capability, same potential, same intelligence, same starting line, different outcomes. Why? Because one moved and one waited. So if you're still hesitating in 2026, you are going to be passed up. Your competitive advantage is moving fast, is deciding. But if you are still gathering more information, still needing people to give you permission and asking person after person whether you should do something, reading one more book, taking one more course, you are actively working against your own future. So here's what I want you to do. The decision you've been thinking about for more than 30 days, the one you already know the answer to, make it before this video ends. Write down a commitment to yourself that I am making this decision. I know there's a decision you've been delaying. Put in the notes, I decided. Put in the comments right now, I decided. Don't give yourself an out. That's called negotiating with yourself. And every time you negotiate with yourself, you know all you did? You trained yourself to stay comfortable. And your results are not going to change. But I don't want you to do this tomorrow. Not when you have thought about it more. Right now. I want you to sign a contract to yourself. I want you to make commitments. I want you to hire a coach. And there's no better coach than me. I will tell you this. My results speak for himself by my clients. But whatever it is, you already know, just frickin' do it. This is the attitude. We've got to start playing hardball with ourselves. We've got to understand, because the universe loves speed, lesson 4 is going to work on this so fast. You're not behind, you're being prepared. This is a lesson. So however old you are, if you're 30, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, then I want you to hear this. I want you to look at me through the camera. I want you to look right in my eyes. I'm only talking to you. I want you to hear me. You're not behind. You are being prepared. The decade you just spent grinding, failing, learning, falling down, getting back up, that was not wasted. It was preparing you for something so far greater. That was the price you paid. Now I want to speed up because you don't need to delay a decade. But that was the price of admission for what comes next. And here's what nobody tells the entrepreneurs. Your 40s are not your last chance. Your 60s are not your last chance. They're your first real chance the minute you decide who you're going to be. And the minute you let go who you're not going to be. In your 20s, you didn't have the wisdom. In your 30s, you didn't have the network. In your 40s, you finally have both. And now, when you add the right identity to 20 years of compounding skill, you become unstoppable and unshakable. Most of my biggest clients started winning at 43, 45, 50, 60. Why? Because they got the direction. See, in my inner circle program right now, they are having the biggest years of their entire life. Why? Because they're getting the exact step-by-step direction. Remember what I told you, my mentor told me. Without direction, there's no success. People are only missing direction. So understand this. Wherever you are in your life, some part of you has quietly been afraid that your window is closed. It hasn't closed. You just haven't decided. So I want to see you win big. I know you have all the potential. Why do I know that? You and I were gifted by God with so much potential. Our spiritual DNA is perfect. You are not missing anything. It's activating your greater self. But right now there's a virus code over your greater self. How do you get rid of the virus code? You decide and start reprogramming your mind. Now, binge my YouTube channel. I have so many videos in so many ways that I could teach you how to reprogram yourself effortlessly. See, I want to see you live the most extraordinary life you've ever lived. And I want you to understand, You are not behind. Everything that has happened is preparing you for something far greater. Your competitors who are winning right now, they have the same potential as you. They're just having different frameworks that they've acted on. Now, understand this. The ones still standing, doing nothing, those are the ones that are going to constantly lose. See, you're not competing with anybody. The only person you're competing with is who you were yesterday. One of the most important goals that you and I can set for ourselves every day is to beat our potential from yesterday. Beat our personal best from yesterday. But understand, most people, and this is your competitive advantage, when I say most people, only 2% of people are winning. 98% of people are struggling. Why? Because they keep operating from an old identity. Now, what I'm telling you right now is the framework. And understand, you are never going to outwork the problem. You have to upgrade your identity. You have a window right now where I want you to upgrade your identity within the next 30 days. And by 60 days, by day 60, your new identity is going to become your new standard. That is the most leveraged window in your life. So stop telling yourself you're late. Stop telling everyone else figured it out earlier. Start deciding, I'm going to create the rest of 2026 is the single best year of my life. Tell yourself every single day for the next 30 days this line. I am exactly where I need to be. My biggest wins are right in front of me. Now, lesson 5, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is the one I wasn't going to include in this video. But I would be lying to you if I left it out. You will never regret the income. You will regret who was not in the room when it arrived. So I want you to hear this. I want you to have the most amazing relationships. I want you to have the most amazing experiences. I want you to not overwork and remind yourself why you're working at this so you create a life of freedom. I want you to have the most extraordinary life, but I want you to accept this. You can have it all. You can have it all. I want you to understand this. If I didn't commit to my transformation, I don't know where I'd be. But I'm an ordinary person, so if I can do it, you can do it. And here's what I want you to understand. The wealth you're chasing right now, when it finally arrives, and it will, it's going to feel hollow if the people you love are not in the room when it walks in. That's why I want you to deposit in your health. I want you to deposit your relationships. I want you to take that dream vacation. The dream is not the income. The dream is being able to look across at the dinner table on a Tuesday night with no phone, no urgency, no half attention, and see the people you built the income for. And know that they actually know you, not the version of you who showed up tired, the real you. I want you to take this seriously because some of the people who have the most money are the brokest people I've ever met. I don't want you to be that. I want you to brain tattoo this philosophy. I can have it all, and I am having it all. This week, sometime before Sunday, I want you to do one thing for the people you love that has nothing to do with money. Take a walk. Spend time with your kids. Take them out to dinner. Really create connection. Not because you owe them, because you value life at the highest level. Because if you do not build the relationships now, they're not going to be there when the income arrives. And wealth without the people is the loneliest thing a man can experience. Now, I'm giving it to you so you don't have to play the long game. See, the universe leaves clues. That is all I want you to understand. If one person can do it, you can do it. Now, I want to bring this all home for you. After 20 years of struggling, of winning, of failing, of effortless success, I've done it all. Now I'm living a life of freedom. I know I have it all. I have the family. I have the business. I have the house. I have the friends. I have the experiences. So trust me, I went from grinding to freedom, and if I can do it, you can do it. Now, I want you to remember, you don't need more time. You have to commit to creating a new identity. That's number 1. Number 2, your environment is your income. Change the rooms before you could change the strategy. 3, everything, do it now, do it now, do it now. Everything with speed. 4, you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And now I want you to seize the opportunity. And 5, you're not going to regret the income. You're going to enjoy it because you have valued yourself and respected yourself to build the relationships in your life. Because when it arrives, I want you to lock in and enjoy it the most. Now, if you do all 5, not 3, not 2, not 4, you're going to have the most amazing life. And you are going to create the best decades in front of you. And I promise you, you are going to love your transformation because you're going to create so many transformations in other people because of the example you're setting. Now, here's what I want you to do right now before the video ends. Subscribe to this channel because I am giving you life-changing ideas, life-changing frameworks. Now, I want you to walk away from this video with the one you're going to implement right away. Live it for the week. And then next week, add the second. In 5 weeks, you're going to have all these playing as a leverage points in your life. Now, what I'd like you to do, if this impacted you like I know it did, send this video to somebody close in your life. The one you know that's grinding that needs to hear this message. Send this to them. You're putting so much good out by doing this. You may be the reason they make a different decision this year. You're not the same person you were when this video started. You're a man or a woman who knows what most men and women your age never learn their entire life. What you do with that is the only thing that matters now. I'll see you in the next video.